Alright, so let's look at this UFC 264 card and see who we got coming up. So we got a middleweight fight. Omari Akhmedov versus Brad Tavares. I believe Akhmedov is one of the guys at a Khabib's camp. Yeah, from Dagestan, 33 years old. 21-5, lost to Weidman via decision. He's got some good wins though. He's beat Bosch, beat Zach Cummings, beat Tom Breeze. Really good UFC record. Lost to Gunnar Nelson. Yeah, really impressive record. Combat Sambo style. Kind of that, second Dan black belt, master sport, and army hand-to-hand combat. And then Tavares, obviously, he's a guy that's been around forever. Was on the Ultimate Fighter 11. I think he only had his first 5 fights were outside the UFC, and now those are all wins. Now he's 18-6. The rest of those are all in the UFC, so he's 13-6 overall in the UFC. Honestly, I'm gonna guess Akhmedov on this one. I think he's got a good style to beat him, and he's tends when you look at the similar opponents they've fought. Akhmedov has beat the guys that Tavares has lost to, and although MMA math doesn't always work out, I think that's definitely a factor. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Akhmedov on that one. Then they got Jennifer Maia versus Jessica Ai. That's actually a really interesting fight. Ai has obviously been a top contender for a while now. She was pretty close to fighting for it. Yeah, I think around UFC 180, I think she was one of the top contenders back when they hadn't really had many women's fights yet. And then she kind of went on that losing streak for a while. Then won a bunch, fought for the 125 title, won 1, lost 2, but to Calvet and Calderwood, who are both top girls. Maya, on the other hand, has been on an absolute tear lately, with the exception of obviously the Shevchenko and Shakugian fights. But she was able to fight for the title. It was her most recent one. I'm gonna say Maya takes this one. I'd be surprised if Ai wins, but that's gonna be a good scrap nonetheless. Dirkus Duplessis and Trevin Gills, or Gillis. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. He's Texan, so I'm going to say probably Gills. 14-2. Lost to Gerald Mershert and Zach Cummings. He's beat Bevan Lewis, James Krause, Roman Dolitz. Dirkus Duplessis. Plessis. Is he French? How do you... South Africa. Okay, so he's Dutch, I'm guessing. 15-2. So very similar records. Interesting is that... Who's this Roberto Soldic guy? Okay, he's still fighting in KSW. That's interesting. He is the KSW middleweight champion, apparently. So he's lost to the KSW champion, but that KSW is probably easily the best promotion in Poland, probably the best promotion in Eastern Europe. So far undefeated in the UFC, although it's only one fight. He fought in EFC Africa a bunch, which is probably the best promotion in Africa. Gillis has far more UFC experience. Fought in LFA before that. So yeah, these guys are both coming from top feeder leagues, I guess you could say. Similar records. What are we looking at for size difference here? 6 foot, 74-inch reach. 6'1", 76-inch reach. So slight size advantage for Drickus. He is 1-1 against the fucking KSW champion. That's pretty impressive. That's a tough one. Gills has the more UFC experience, but that 1-1 with the KSW champion is insanely impressive. I'm gonna go with Dreykus, but that's gonna be a good fight. I'm actually not too familiar with either of these guys, but looking at the records, who they fought, et cetera, I'm actually pretty excited for that fight. That could be a next. That could be one of the fights for like who becomes the next big contender. And then next up, we got Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria, I think is how you pronounce his name. So obviously not a big name for Ilia. He's 24 years old. He's from Germany. Actually, apparently, he was born in Germany. He lives in Spain. Not very famous, but 10-0, so a hot prospect. But they couldn't really find anyone for Ryan Hall to fight because nobody wants to fight him because he's just so goddamn good at jiu-jitsu. Everyone's kind of terrified of him. Topuria, it's interesting. He has 2 UFC wins. Not against really top guys, but before that he fought Brave, Cage Warriors, mixed fight events, bunch of smaller shows. Cage Warriors probably being the most prestigious, I guess you could say, out of all those. So he is representing Spain apparently. El Matador. So I'm guessing was just born in Germany and he's of Spanish descent, maybe. I mean, I guess the EU and stuff there, they move around a lot, so that's an interesting fight though. He's 10-0. Ryan Hall's 8-1. I'm gonna guess Hall's the favorite. Let's see, Ryan Hall odds. Betting odds, Ryan Hall. Hall wins by submission is only an 18%. Really? These all have fucking Topuria as the favorite. That's interesting. I mean, expected outcome. 39% of people think Topuria by KO TKO. Wow. I am surprised that Hall is the underdog. That is insane. I mean, honestly, Purea, like, he's not very well known, and he does have an impressive record, but, like, and he's obviously much younger. I think he's, like, 12 years younger than Hall, 24 versus, Hall is 36. 5'10". Purea's only 5'8". Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Ryan Hall on that one. I'm surprised so many people have Topuria winning that one. I do not know why that, like, maybe they're just betting because they think, maybe the betting line was crazy earlier, so people just all hopped on it. But that's just insane to me. Like, Ryan Hall is so good. And, like, people are literally afraid to fight the fucking guy. And he finally gets a fight, and they're, like, against a guy who's, I don't think he's making his UFC debut, but he's fought only twice against not really top-tier opponents. And all the top-tier guys are afraid to fight Ryan Hall. And, yeah, that's just weird to me.